Okay, so welcome. This is the open house information session for communication sciences and disorders. And so I'm going to go through some information and introduce myself, and then we'll have some time for questions and answers at the end for sure. So I'm Debbie Burnett, and I am an assistant professor of communication sciences and disorders. I am the department chair for the Department of Health Sciences. And I'm also a licensed and certified speech language pathologist. And I have been a licensed and certified SLP for just a little over 19 years now. So I've been in the profession for a while. And let me just have one of my students, Kaylee, introduce herself and just kind of tell you a little bit about who she is.
Hi, I'm Kaylee. I'm a senior in the Communication Sciences and Disorders major. I have a minor in art therapy. Right now we're doing our practicum, which is actually pretty interesting because it's all virtual thanks to COVID, which I'm glad that we're getting the opportunity to use Master Clinician, which is like the program that we're going through. So things have been going well on campus. I work in the development office here. I also work for our phone-a-thon team, which is raising money for donors. That's kind of the gist right now.
Thanks, Kelly. So I'm going to go through a short presentation and just talk about some of the specifics about the program. And as I said, we'll have some time for questions definitely at the end. So when we think about who's going to major in communication sciences and disorders, we're looking at people who want to go to graduate school to become certified licensed speech language pathologists or certified and licensed audiologists. So the bachelor's degree will prepare a student to apply for graduate school in either one of those disciplines. We also train people who want to work as a speech language pathology assistant. So sometimes people want to do that right out of graduating with their bachelor's before they're deciding about graduate school. And so people are fully prepared to take on that role when they get their bachelor's degree. We have a curriculum that's designed to prepare someone for admission into graduate school. The prerequisite courses are the courses required before someone starts a graduate program. We also cover the disorder courses in articulation and phonological disorders and language disorders that one would need to work as a speech pathology assistant. And in the state of Massachusetts, where Springfield College is, we do have a licensure requirement at the assistant level. And so we prepare students to take on that role. And our courses are a range of sciences, so biological sciences and physics or chemistry, statistics, writing, social science, psychology and sociology would be in social science. We also cover the normal developmental processes of speech, language, hearing, and the disorders of speech and language in children. Most of our students who work as speech language pathology assistants, when they graduate, they work in pediatric settings, so schools, clinics, that kind of thing. So we train the pediatric aspect. And the sequence of courses in the major is very thoughtfully constructed so that the content really builds from one course to the next, and students can learn and apply that knowledge. And so Kaylee mentioned a practicum experience. And so as a senior, you get a chance to really dive in and apply a lot of what you've learned. If you're thinking about graduate school and you're curious about how Springfield College prepares students, our students have attended a variety of programs. Most recently, schools like St. Rose in Albany, Mercy, Rush for the audiology program. We've had 2 students actually go over to Rush in Chicago. In Connecticut, we have students at Sacred Heart and at Southern Connecticut and at UConn. In Massachusetts, we have students that have gone to UMass and Worcester State. And in the greater New England area, certainly University of Rhode Island and University of New Hampshire. So our students do tend to apply to schools kind of on the East Coast most often, kind of a little bit closer to home. But certainly students can apply to any accredited program in the country. And so there's a lot of choice there. And we do try to support students in their planning from day one. So we talk about graduate school expectations and help to prepare our students to be successful. And, in the spring, we kind of covered how to apply to graduate school going into the summer for the juniors. And now our now seniors are in the process of applying. So those students that want to go to graduate school right away are applying right now and working on all of those processes. So I've met with several students and emailing and checking in and really just supporting students to be successful in that process. So over the 4 years, you really prepare to do those next steps. When we think about Springfield College, some of the things that are unique about the experience here is just how student-centered and student-focused the college is. I think you'll be hard-pressed to find a president of an institution who is as strong a champion for students as President Cooper is. So, and when we think about current challenges, needs of our students, we are really relying on our foundation of Springfield College, which is spirit, mind, and body. So really thinking about taking care of the whole person. And it's not unusual for us to talk about just how people are doing their mental health, their physical health, and really making sure that our students are well-adjusted and happy and successful in all aspects of their lives. All semester, particularly in the spring semester when we really transitioned and the pandemic started, we really engaged in a lot of mindfulness. We did some meditation practices in many of our classes, and really we're not just interested in the academics, but really interested in making sure everybody was okay and doing well. And that serves us, I think, well now. I think we're still engaged in a lot of that sort of well-being and self-care. And then, in terms of the format of the class, any class that you take, it's certainly a blend of lecture and experiential and hands-on learning. So whether it's in person, whether it's a more remote format, the instructors at Springfield College are very focused on making it a student-centered experience. And then technology. So we're always looking for ways to increase our technology use in our classes. And the picture that you see here is a breakfast that we all had together pre-pandemic, where the students and faculty got together and had some fun outside of school. So if you think about some of the aspects of the college, we certainly have small class size. So the communication sciences and disorders classes are relatively small in comparison to most institutions. Right now, I have a class of about 10 students in one subject area, a class of 9 students completing practicum, a class of, I think my big class is 15 students. So we really get a chance to meet our students and get to know them fairly well. I'm gonna ask Kaylee to chime in a little bit here about the experience of being a student with these smaller class sizes and sort of how does that feel for you as a student?
Yeah, so I actually really appreciate the small class size. And even with that, up until this year, there was 2 ComDis professors. So we would, and then Janice, who's our audiologist professor, but you only take like 3 classes with her. So you really have like just Debbie and then our old professor who you would see at least twice a week, if not 3 times a week for at least an hour. So, you're on a first name basis. You can even do like check-ins on life. And I really like it because they kind of know where you're at personally. And so if something does come up and you need to like take a step back or you need extra time, it's really nice being like a person and not just like a number. So, and then you get close with your friends too. Like in this picture, it's like been everybody in that picture has been, we're all the same grade. So we've been going through it all together. So we have like a group chat that we talk all the time about homework, and it's nice to like have people to process things with, I think.
Mhm. Thanks. And I think it's a very supportive group. So every cohort forms its own bond, and everybody just wants everybody to do well and to succeed, and everybody really helps each other out. And what Kaylee said is absolutely true. I mean, I think there's no question that you'll get to know your faculty. You'll see them frequently and they want to get to know you. And I certainly really enjoy all the time that I have with my students and getting to know everything that they want to share, whether it's pets that they've got or family or anything going on, favorite foods, all of it. It's really fun. And then we also do have some service learning experiences. So students can go out into community-based settings and do different kinds of service projects. At Springfield College, we have our Humanics philosophy, which is to be of service to others. And in this picture, you can see we did a family fun night at the local family center, and that was really, really fun. Now things look a little different in current times, so we certainly hope to resume some of these types of activities in the future. We have individualized advising. So each student gets to get to know their academic advisor. Most often, unless you're switching majors or doing some changes, you have the same advisor your whole time. So if you start as a ComDis student and you maintain that for 4 years, you'd have the same advisor. And it's one-on-one advising. So you have an individual meeting with your advisor to go over your course progress, to plan for the next semester classes, and to talk about any questions or needs that you might have. We also do some mentored research opportunities. So students might do some independent research with a faculty member. There's an honors program at the college. They might do honors program research. This is a poster that was done for Scholars in Action Day, which is in the spring. Last semester, I did some independent study research with a student looking at different aspects of language. So lots of opportunities to work with faculty and complete research if that's of interest to you. And then as Kaylee mentioned, we have clinical practicum, and that's in the senior year. All seniors complete the practicum, one in the fall, one in the spring. This is a little bit different this year because of the virtual platforms, but typically students are accumulating about 270 hours over the course of 2 semesters in various activities and observation and clinical hours. This experience, I can tell you, is not offered at every undergraduate institution. And so having this at the bachelor's level is really, really important and really significant, and something that most students will find to be really beneficial. It just happens that I got an email from a recent alum who's now in graduate school. She sent me an email last week and was just sharing how she felt so confident in her graduate class compared to students that had not had any clinical experiences at all. So I think as you're looking at programs and thinking about what's going to help you to have a strong foundation and be successful, you want to be looking for those kinds of opportunities. This semester, it does look a little bit different. We have some virtual platforms, and then students will be able to observe over telepractice. So they'll be able to observe therapists kind of doing sessions over these kinds of virtual platforms. I have one student who is off campus. She's kind of living at home this semester, and so she has a practicum experience there. And so it's a little bit different, but the idea of the preparation and the application of knowledge is the same. And Kaylee doesn't know this yet, but I have an opportunity. She will get to start to observe some telepractice. So she'll get that info from me. So that's coming your way. Other opportunities, so leadership across the campus, and certainly leadership within our NISLA club. And so many opportunities to be engaged on campus. It's more a matter of choosing what you have time for than feeling like there's nothing to do. There's always many, many opportunities. Our students are natural leaders, and part of our mission of Springfield is to grow leaders, to be leaders in service. And so our student club, the National Student Speech Language Hearing Association, when we're a chapter at Springfield College, it's for all grade levels. So students can join the club and become engaged their very first semester all the way through senior year. And so we really have a lot of different aspects of the club. And I'm going to ask Kaylee to talk a little bit about the club. She's one of our members of our leadership, our executive board, and she is the chair of community engagement. So will you just describe some of your experiences with our club?
Yes. So usually we do, the picture actually is one of them. The top one is the Treat Fest, which I didn't get to go to last year, and I'm sad this year because we have to do it virtually, hopefully. But there's a lot of different things that we do. We do fundraisers, we sell t-shirts, bracelets, and being like the community outreach position this year, I'm in charge of organizing ways that we can engage in the community around Springfield. There's a lot of opportunities really close to campus, which are nice. So we're just getting started. We have a meeting next week, so it's fun. And it's nice to see everybody and catch up too.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great group. And I think a lot of students comment that they don't really feel a difference between freshman or senior, that everybody's just one cohesive group. But I will say the seniors are doing a great job. They're reaching out to our first year students and helping them navigate campus and answer questions and really encouraging and mentoring those students. So that's really nice as well. The teaching research assistant opportunities. So Springfield College has just implemented an undergraduate teaching assistant role. So a faculty member can have an undergraduate teaching assistant, so they can assist with a class that they've taken and done well in. And they would meet with the faculty member weekly. The credit load varies depending on how much time they're spending. So I have a plan to have an undergraduate teaching assistant in my spring class. And so I'll be asking students if they're interested and talking more with my seniors, including Kaylee, to see if there's some interest in that experience. But that's new and really exciting to have that opportunity. I know as an undergraduate student myself, some years ago, it was really beneficial to be an undergraduate teaching assistant. And it was not in a comm disc class. I actually minored in dance. So I was a TA in my dance classes, and that was really, really fun. And then research assistant, again, so there are many different research opportunities. We've had a couple of students who have worked with the dean of our School of Health Sciences on her project, and they've been able to do some different aspects there. And like I said, there's a variety of research going on campus that students may get involved in. Athletics is big at Springfield College, and so you'll find that the academics are very supportive of our student athletes. And so students are able to really balance both. And it's quite an investment in their athletics and an investment in their academics. But most faculty are very understanding of that time commitment and really supportive of our student athletes. And study abroad. So again, outside of a pandemic era, students do go on study abroad. Last year, we had a student who went to Greece. Her experience was cut a little bit short. She had to come back a little bit early in the spring, but she made the most of it while she was there. In the past, we've had students go to Australia for study abroad. We also have short-term experiences like on alternative spring break experiences. We've had students go down to South America and do service trips. And then also sometimes there's opportunities in the summer. So students have done sort of short trips, maybe to Ireland or other places like that. So hopefully study abroad will get back up and running and, as quickly as possible. I know they're already prepared as soon as we're able to have students abroad again. And I just wanted to mention as well that, we're also thinking about all the different opportunities for our students. So we're always looking out for experiences and scholarships and things for our students. So we had a student last year who got a national scholarship through our National Student Association. And she also was a student volunteer at our ASHA convention, the American Speech Language Hearing Association convention, last fall. So she actually was able to join me at our annual conference. And this is about 13,000 professionals, speech pathologists and audiologists and speech and hearing scientists that get together every fall. Not this fall, but we will get together again. And this one happened to be in Orlando. So we had a great time and a great conference experience. And I'm just going to give that shout out to Christina. She was one of 4 sophomores in the country that got the scholarship. So very, very proud of her. And then if you have questions, this is me again, Debbie Burnett, and you have some contact information here. And I am going to stop our recording.